So this is why I do not like having goals. This is why I don't have goals. And this is why I think you should get rid of your goals as well. So now here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a clear vision of where you're going. You shouldn't have a clear idea of where you're trying to arrive. But what I am saying is that word, my problem is with the word goal. And this video, the inspiration for this video kind of comes from a conversation that I had with one of my team members today, actually, literally like 20 minutes ago. Also, look at that little piece of hair right there. See if I can get that one to tuck in. And I basically told him, I said, dude, you know, like, where have you been? What's going on? Like, he just really wasn't showing up. I just noticed that, like, you know, he's not on his game. And when I got to the core of it, it was that he felt like he didn't really know why he was trying so hard. He didn't really know exactly what he was after. So I told him, okay, so what are you trying to do? What do you want? And he didn't really know that either. He said, I just kind of want to be able to provide for my family, and like that's kind of what I want. And you know, I feel really happy. All I really need is a work desk and like some good books, and like that's really all I need. And I just stopped and I said, well, for now. And then he kind of was quiet and he didn't say anything back for a moment. And he was like, yeah. Right, and I could tell that he took a little bit of offense to it. I said, well, for now, that's all you need, right? Is that what you want 10 years from now? And he said, I mean, no. And I said, okay, what do you want 10 years from now? Have you thought about that? And he said, no. And I said, have you put a number? This is where the conversation got intense. I said, have you put a number to what you mean when you say provide? Have you clearly defined this goal of provide? Have you defined it? And he said, no, I haven't. Okay. So probably why you're not in a good space, probably why you're not doing the work, probably why you're not waking up with energy is because you don't know where you're going. You don't know what you want. You do in theory know what you want. You say you want to provide. Everybody wants to provide. You say you want financial freedom. Everybody wants financial freedom. You say you want to be fit. Have you defined fit? Have you defined what that means? You know, fit could be, I want to be able to run 5 miles and I want to put on an extra 10 pounds of muscle. And I want to run those miles at like a less than 8-minute pace. And I'd like to get 8 hours of sleep every night, right? Define that. Define it, because otherwise a goal is just a disempowered thing. So I'm not a fan of goals. I've changed from goal to clearly defined objective. And I've moved from goal to clearly defined standard. Turning, you know, Tony Robbins has a cool idea. He says he turns your shoulds into musts. These aren't things I should do. These are things I must do. You know, I've been going to marriage counseling, premarital counseling with my fiance. We're going through a program called SYMBIS, S-Y-M-B-I-S, and that stands for Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. It's a beautiful program. And it's funny because, you know, I had a very transparently, I had a lot of fears about getting married, a lot of fears about getting engaged, a lot of fears about like, is this really the person I think they're gonna be, yada, yada. And if you're engaged, if you're a young man, you want to get married, you have to go to premarital counseling. You have to go either through a program like SYMBIS or something like that. I know it's a bit of a tangent, but do not get married before you have the hard conversations about like, what if a divorce happens? What are we gonna do at that point? Are we gonna have a prenup? Are we not gonna have a prenup? You know, how many kids are we gonna have? You know, like, what's this living situation? Look, what do we want to have happen in our marriage? I'm in this state of mind of really thinking about my future from a very, very clear perspective. And now, let me be honest, she doesn't enjoy doing that because she's so present. She loves every little moment. She could care less whether we live in a big old house with, you know, $10 million cash in the bank, or we live very humbly and I just work a normal job, and she could care less. What she wants is the moments with me. What she wants is my presence. What she wants is relationship. And it's a beautiful dichotomy. It's a beautiful polarized relationship, very masculine and feminine roles, right? But it challenges me to get clear about where I'm going. So, you know, I've realized, as I was telling my team member this, I've got a number of like where I want my business to be, 100%. I've got a number of where I want to be. I've got a specific amount of money I want in the bank within 2 years. So I've got a specific amount of money. And I've done the math about how much I would need to make so that after tax I have this amount liquid in the bank, and then I know exactly what I would do with the money once I've gotten there. So I've gotten very clear, and even a poor plan executed well is better than an amazing plan executed poorly, right? So I'd rather just have a plan and execute it than spin my wheels trying to figure out what the perfect thing to do is. I just don't think you get anything from that. And then what happens is, you know, this team member, I'm having this conversation with them, and they're like, huh, and they start whipping out their journal, and they realize, wait a second, I've been settling, because I saw on their Instagram story, you know, they were like flexing their apartment, and you know, the money that they were making in my company gave them the ability to get a really nice apartment, like buy nice things, and like I noticed, like, dude, like I'm gonna be kind of mean here and remind you that you haven't made it. Like, you are still pretty broke. I hope you realize that you're still really broke. And he's like, I really needed to hear that. After all of this, he was like, I really needed to hear this. Thank you so much. So anyway, I'm not a fan of goals. I'm a fan of standards. You will always, always, always meet your standards. You won't always reach your goals. If you set a goal in mind, that's probably what you're doing is psychologically, you're separating yourself from that goal. You're saying, oh, that is something in a perfect world I would like to Or that's really what you're saying. In a perfect world, this would happen. Or in the future, I hope this happens. It's really what goals tends to mean. Unless you change in your own head what you mean when you say the word goal, then goal tends to mean something out in the future. And when it's out in the future, what it does is it separates it from the now, and the now is all you have. All you have is right now, today. So if you know where you're trying to get, you know that you want to get there, and what you're doing is you're saying, oh, that's the goal. That's what you're doing. You're disempowering yourself from making it happen. Odds are, most of the time. And this is like when I even talk to like close friends of mine, like, oh, what's your goal? He's like, oh, this is kind of what I'd like to do, and this is where I'm kind of trying to go. And I'm like, it's not, define it. Because when you define it, what starts to happen is you can introduce math, and the whole world lives off of math. So if you define it, you can just think like literally. For example, in marriage counseling, they asked me, okay, what do you want your relationship with your fiance to look like? When you guys are married, what do you want it to feel like? I've always said I want a healthy marriage, but I realized that I'd never defined that. And that was a challenge for me. And I was in my chair, I was getting uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know. I just want like a healthy marriage. Like, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. And then they said, okay, so what's a healthy marriage to you? And I was like, well, and so then I started thinking, is like, well, this is kind of what I want a day-to-day to look like. And this is like what I want us to communicate like. And this is what I want her to say about me behind my back. And this is what I want to believe about her. And this is what I want our sex life to be like. This is how often, this is what I want. This is where I want to go. This is where I want to travel to these places, and I want to have, maybe this many kids or so. And this is kind of what I want our life to feel like, the day-to-day. This is what I want our routines to look like. And, of course, I can't project all the way out to when we're 60, but I'll probably go back through this exercise at some point when I realize that we've met all the standards that I had for our relationship. So get rid of goals, introduce standards, and I promise you will feel challenged, you will feel uncomfortable, but that's good. You've never made it. If the second you start to feel like you've made it, you've lost. Goals aren't good because once you reach the goal, then the goal is met, and then you have to make a new goal. It's just stupid. So instead, adopt standards for the next season of life. So see your life in seasons. This is the standard that I'm going to arrive at during this season. Once the season is over, I'm going to raise the standard. Not, this is my goal for this, and I'm just kind of going to see if we can do it. It's crazy how many people live their life like that. It's so disempowered. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Much love. God bless. See ya.